Alternative title? Spoiled brat MCU fans once again get spoiled by their god Kevin Feige, who I'm definitely not jealous of in any way. I love being a DC fan. Everything's going great. Kevin Feige is doing a lot of interviews. I don't know why my arms got so crazy there. My apologies. It's very late in my day. It would be early in your day, but late in mine. So Kevin Feige has been doing some interviews, trying to pump up excitement for Wandavision, but of course, in doing those interviews, he's asked a lot of MCU questions, and my goodness, he gave a feast of answers. I think the best is, Deadpool 3 is happening. Rob Liefeld, I know this is just gonna light a little fire under your butt, but here's the thing. You kind of were a douche about this whole situation, which I have a few videos on. Anyways, let's focus on the positive. 1. Deadpool 3 is happening. 2. It will be part of the MCU main verse. And 3. It's rated motherfucking R. Holy shit, Disney. You're not fucking this up. And here's Kevin's full quote on that, just in case you need to fully realize how amazing this news is. It will be rated R, and we are working on a script now, and Ryan's overseeing a script right now. It will not be filming this year. Ryan is a very busy, very successful actor. We got a number of things we've already announced that we now have to make, but it's exciting for it to have begun. And, again, a very different type of character in the MCU, and Ryan is a force of nature, which is just awesome to see him bring that character to life. Ryan writing it, such good news. Didn't mention Rob at all. Ooh, man, I kind of wonder if he's already tweeted up a storm of just how pissed off he is. So anyways, this is a fabulous day that we got confirmation Deadpool 3 is happening. It'll probably start filming, I would guess, and I have no information on this. So this is just a radical guess on my part. That they're gonna start filming in 2022, we probably won't see Deadpool 3 until 2023. Even though if you ask Rob Liefeld, he'll say, oh no, it's at least 2025 until we'll see it. Anywho, let's move on. I don't need my blood pressure to get any higher. I'm elderly and I could die at any moment. Now, Kevin didn't directly say this, but it does sound like if you're hoping for Disney Plus to ever go, okay, we're gonna mass dump one of our MCU series, not gonna happen. They really like doing the episodic, every week you come back, and I guess he called it something like eventicizing it. I mean, here's his quote on why they didn't drop WandaVision all at once. We had discussions about dropping the season all at once, but everybody at Disney Plus had decided, and we very much agree, the notion of the fun of week to week. Also, it's a good way to spread your programming throughout the months, so people don't do this thing where they just binge watch everything and then cancel. We're on to you, Disney. We know what you're doing. On whether they would ever revive the Marvel Netflix shows, Kevin said, never say never. And this is just a wild rumor at this point. I don't know if this is gonna piss you off for me saying this, but there is a wild rumor that we are going to get Jessica Jones from the Netflix series in the She-Hulk series, at least for one episode. I could see them cherry-picking which actors they liked from the Netflix Marvel shows and moving them on over. I don't think they're gonna take everything, because I feel like we can be honest with each other here. Some of the Netflix Marvel shows were just pure garbage. Just pure fucking garbage. There's some of it we can decanonize. Next, Kevin Feige said there have been long and in-depth conversations about bringing X-Men to the MCU. I still have my bets being placed that WandaVision is going to help introduce mutants in whatever way. There are tons of ways that she could bring mutants into existence in the MCU, but I love that they've really been putting so much thought into it. Kevin Feige wouldn't confirm whether the rumors are true that we're going to have Andrew Garfield and also Tobey Maguire come back to reprise their Spider-Man live-action roles in Spider-Man 3 starring Tom Holland. I could have phrased that in such a better way, but fuck it. Anywho, he said this. Sometimes the rumors are shockingly close, and that's held true for the last few years, but saying which is which would take all the fun out of everything. If you don't know this yet, Kevin Feige's really good at dodging shit he doesn't want to answer. Such as when he was asked, hey, could you tell us exactly when Phase 4 will end in the MCU? And he was like, nah. Next, he talked about how WandaVision is setting us up to expect a lot of different and crazy things in the MCU going forward. I hope it says get ready for the new and the different. Certainly with the Disney Plus opportunities, it has allowed us to expand creatively what we do. The Falcon and the Winter Soldier was going to debut first last year, followed very soon behind by Wandavision. Creatively, it didn't reshuffle. This required no shuffling whatsoever in terms of the creative, as is often the case when you are thrown curveballs. The unexpected has often served Marvel Studios well, and it served us well in this case because this show, being our first, I love how bold it is. We have things that you will only be able to see initially in theaters. This is very much made to be seen week after week on television, which is very different for us. And I think there are people worried that they're spreading the MCU properties too thin, and Kevin Feige also in an interview detailed how they're assuring quality. So just in case you're one of those people and you're super worried, here's what he said. Doing what is now our first Disney Plus series in a way that it couldn't just be a movie. It's not just a long movie on Disney Plus. We will make shows that are like that, but for our first one, it felt great to do something that could only be done for television. The time spent making these things were about the same. We just had a year delay, as the whole world did, before we were able to put them out. Certainly a number of the movies coming out this year were supposed to come out last year, but even taking that into account, yes, there's certainly a lot more than we've done before, and it's really everything we've been building towards for the past 3 years. As we were finishing the Infinity Saga with Endgame, Infinity War, and Far From Home, we were also planning what was next. And this expansion into Disney Plus was a part of that from the start. It was the notion of growing and expanding the MCU into this different platform that would allow us to further explore characters, like Wanda and Vision, like Loki, like Falcon and the Winter Soldier, that we've met before, but hadn't been able to focus on or spend as much time with as we want to, and also continue bringing in new characters to the MCU, thanks to the embarrassment of riches from the comics. We have an amazing team of people at the studios with creative producers dedicated to each project 24 hours a day on location. The management system that we started when it was just a couple of movies and a handful of us is the same now when it's a lot of movies, and much, much more of us. He's trying to tell us calm down. Quality will be the same. I'm perfectly calm, Kevin. And I'm used to disappointment. I'm a Game of Thrones fan. Honestly, what you should be taking from all the Kevin Feige interviews is they are playing fast and loose with these Disney Plus MCU shows, and they just want to get crazy with it. And one of my biggest complaints about the MCU, and I know there are people that agree with me and disagree with me, cookie cutter bullshit. I know what I'm getting into when I go to see an MCU film. When I go to see a DCEU film, I have no idea what the fuck's gonna happen, and I like it. So the fact that MCU is going a little more wild card, let's get weird. Lastly, some people aren't too happy. Kevin announced the episode amounts and lengths for some of the MCU shows, and they're pretty short. So here's what he said on it. Well, we're looking a little differently. We're looking at it as developing them as either 6-hour episodes or 9 or 10 half-hour episodes. So for instance, WandaVision started that way, and Falcon and Winter Soldier as 30 minutes, but because it's streaming, it's Disney Plus, and the rules have blurred over the years, yes, some can be 23 minutes, some can be much longer than that, but She-Hulk, for instance, is being developed as 10 30-minute episodes. Some will be longer, some will be shorter. Loki, Falcon, and the Winter Soldier is being developed as 6 40 to 50-minute episodes. Interestingly, we are being told Moon Knight, which stars Oscar Isaac, will be 6 40 to 50-minute episodes. I'm chill with episodes being that short. I don't need hour-long episodes except for things dealing with Star Wars. For the MCU, you want to keep it down to 23-minute episodes, I'm completely on board. You will fill up my MCU meter in 21 minutes. Anywho, thanks Super MCU fans for letting me talk about the MCU, but also being very passive-aggressive with my disappointment in the DCEU currently.